Hi, welcome back to Mel's Health and my first video in 6 months. Oops, sorry about that. Today is just going to be a little ode to my top video of all time, which was the top tips for when you're in recovery from pulmonary embolism, which I think is sitting at around 22,000 views right now. Small in the grand scheme of things, but big for me. So I'm here today with top tips for getting through BPA surgeries. There's a few little things that I noticed throughout the process that I think will just be some quick, easy points for me to make people aware of if you're about to go through this yourself. Okay, so I'm diving straight in with tip number 1. And this is before anything happens with any of the surgeries, and it is to get prepared by having some oversized jeans, shorts, and baggy homeware. Most BPA surgeries will use the groin as the entry point, which is what I experienced. So you'll initially have a large gauze placed over the area, and then you're going to have continued coverings over it, which means it has to be kept dry and clean and free from irritation. My surgeries were in the absolute height of summer when it was baking hot outside. So when I was trying to do stuff in between the different surgery appointments, I was wearing like shorts to go out and about and do activities in. So when I was out and about, I was just wearing garments that were a size or two too big, just to make sure I had plenty of room at that entry site. And then when I was at home, I'm just relaxing in like baggy PJ style bottoms. So don't pack anything overly tight. And that means, sorry millennials, you've got to leave your skinny jeans at home for this one. Okay, tip number 2 is for when you're in the hospital, get an eye mask. This is like my biggest regret from the hospital stay, that I didn't have this with me. I know every hospital environment is different. Maybe you won't have to share a room, or there won't be certain lights everywhere or distractions and things like that. But just believe me, it's just something that I wish I had, because there's always something going on in these environments. And I ended up wrapping a blanket around my head every single night that I was sitting in the hospital. So if I'd had the eye mask, it would have just helped me get a bit more meaningful rest. Tip number 3. Make use of your phone in terms of your notes app and your photos and videos. You want to make sure that you're keeping a good record of how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, what questions and concerns you might have, and make use of all the conversations that you can possibly have with your doctor when they come in for your checkups. It's really easy to forget things. I'm sure you've all experienced it when you're in a medical appointment and you don't manage to get through all the questions and things that you wanted to say because it's just left your head at that particular moment in time. Having a good support person with you is always a good utilization. For this, I solely relied on my husband 100% because I was feeling really crappy in those afternoons, and he was just getting all the questions, getting all the information, and trying to make note of everything that we wanted to know. So it's really going to be really useful to take lots of photos and videos and make notes during your stay. Not everybody has BPAs in quick succession like I did, where I had like 4 surgeries over the space of 2 weeks. Some people have to wait months in between their BPA sessions, and it's really easy to forget during that time how you were feeling, where in the hospital you had to go, what things looked like, either just in terms of your recovery from the entry site and stuff like that. So it's good to have a basis to look back on, and then you can remind yourself what you're about to go through as well. But if you are having them in quick succession, it's nice to look back on and then see how far you've come. Tip number 4, again for the hospital stay, take your own entertainment and power. Again, I am sure every hospital is different with the kinds of amenities and stuff you have available to you. For me, I was completely left to my own devices when it came to any form of entertainment for all my stays in the hospital. So when you're packing your overnight bag, remember to have your forms of entertainment, but also how you're going to power them, unless you're taking actual old school style books that I'm sure people out there still rely on. But most things these days require power. If you're taking your phone, laptop, tablets, anything like that, make sure that you take everything that you're going to need to keep those batteries going. So whether you get a range of power banks, big, small, so your chargers for your laptops and everything like that, even ones that plug into the wall, because there are outlets you can use. Just make sure that you've got all that packed in your overnight bag and ready to go, because when you are sat there doing absolutely nothing for hours on end with nowhere to go, the batteries do run out quite quickly. Also, think about the sounds when it comes to these types of things. If you're like me, I had to share a room, and I had a couple of different headphone options for the stuff when I was watching stuff on my laptop on my phone. I did have some over-ear headphones, but I ended up just relying on old school in-ear wire headphones. Because when you're actually laying in bed with like over-ear headphones, it's not actually that comfortable to have them against like the pillows and stuff when you're trying to get comfortable. So the in-ear headphones actually worked a lot better, because you can lay on your side still and try and get comfy when you're not feeling too great, but then also still be entertained by what's going on your phone or your laptop. Okay, tip number 5, Plan for some comfort food and drinks whilst you're in hospital. I am sure there are hospitals that exist in the world that have some absolutely lovely food for their patients, but I've never experienced that in anything I've been to, and Toronto was no exception. The food was absolutely awful. Plus, every single day they forgot that I was only supposed to be like nil by mouth in the morning before the surgery. When you have BPA, you are fine to eat as long as you're all cleared for the afternoon and the evening, and you can eat all the way up until like 10 p.m. at night if you're going in first thing in the morning for your surgery. And every single day they didn't mark the NPO off my chart, so when it came to them delivering the lunch and the dinner, I was left off every single day. Even though I was there consecutive days all in a row, they kept forgetting, and then I would just get handed whatever leftovers they could find after everyone else had been served. And for me, I was feeling absolutely awful after the sedation, and then I didn't have like instant access to like any kind of food that I could even fathom stomaching, and it just made me feel 10 times worse. Even one point, my family did bring in a takeaway at some point, and it was something that I would have just been able to eat normally, and I just couldn't even stomach it by that point. So the following week, I had nice snacks kind of available to me. I had some fresh fruit and some nice juices and some cans of drink. And it was just a better round experience where as soon as I was cleared to be able to have some food, I just had the things that I knew I could stomach and that were comforting to me available, and not solely relying on hospital food. So either plan ahead and bring them with you, or make sure that your support people who are coming in to visit you later know what to bring you, because it makes the experience so much better. And I'm just going to end on a bonus tip. Might not be for everybody, but if you are so inclined, get a health tracker of some sort, whether it's a watch or a ring or any of the wearable tech that exists these days. I find that I actually like having an explanation for why I might be feeling a certain way, or I like knowing that if something is randomly going on and I'm not overly aware of it, that I'm being alerted to it so that I can fix it. So for an example, sometimes I will feel like a heart palpitation. Maybe I'll feel lightheaded or a little bit panicky. And if I can see that my heart rate is elevated and I've got a number in mind, and I can take the time to, breathe and calm myself down and just relax for a second and then watch the number drop, then that helps me because I've got that quantifiable data there just showing me that it's all been sorted out. Or the other way around, if I was to get an alert saying that I'd either overdone it or maybe my heart rate was too high, but I'm actually feeling okay, I can still be like, okay, well, something is going on for me physically. I better just take a minute and relax and calm down and then get on with my day after. Depending on how you are, I know some people say it does fuel their anxiety. For me, I am the complete opposite with it. But I will just say that because I've used these devices from prior to surgery and after surgery, it's really nice to see the improvement in my body after going through this, just to kind of solidify the fact that the BPAs were really successful. So in the months since I had my surgeries, I've got quantifiable data that shows that my resting heart rate and my heart rate variability just dropped significantly after the BPAs. Mainly my sleeping heart rate, maybe not so much my regular resting heart rate, but it's just something that you can see that it's worked. So even though I know in myself, because I just generally feel better and I can take deep breaths and I don't get out of breath as much when I'm doing exercise, and I do know, I can tell by the feeling of the fact that I just generally feel better, this just solidifies it by giving me that quantifiable data that I have actually got improvement and it's being seen in my vitals. So if you are that way inclined, I do recommend getting some sort of tracker of some sort. So if you are headed out for BPAs, I do hope this helped, and good luck with everything if you are. If you want more information on what I experienced going through BPA surgery, or if you want some information specific to Toronto, I do have all of that over on my channel, as well as some images from the surgery too, so go and check that out next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.